What do you remember hating the most being a child? People making fun of me. Grown up included. The lack of freedom. I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things that I wanted to. False accusations, but when you try to defend yourself you get told to shut up, or even worse, you get punished further. Going to bed when other kids are still playing outside. The cruelty of other kids. Being 4'3" with the voice of a tuba. That my feelings didn't matter. If I was feeling anything other than happy, I had to get over it. If I was crying, I was ordered to stop or get something worth crying over. Being talked down to, or people laughing at me when I was telling them something serious. Living in a house with just one bathroom, and so many people. Seemed like someone was always using the toilet or the shower when others needed use of the room. Family gatherings. Had a large extended family as an Indian, and there were gatherings and functions almost every week. Coming of age. Housewarming. Marriage. First birthdays called for gatherings between 100 to 2,000 people. You had to dress up and meet people that apparently cleaned your snot as a baby, expecting you to remember that they did so. It was horrid. Kinda miss it now though. Having to lie to stay out of trouble. Not getting explanations for things I asked about. My parents and extended family were good-hearted people, but none of them were very intellectually minded or patient. So when I had questions about how things in the world were supposed to work or operate, the answers were frequently unsatisfying. Ranging somewhere between, because it just does slashes, to I don't know. And I don't know was sadly never followed up with. But let's find out. Adults not taking me seriously when I'd say I was full/needed a wee/didn't feel well. We don't tell adults they have to eat if they're full, or to just hold it if they need the loo. Getting chastised for falling down accidentally and getting scrapes. Ended up hiding one because of fear, and got a permanent scar from it not healing properly. Being told no without any explanation. That's just going to make me do it to find out myself. What I remember most was some adults not treating me like a human being just because I was a child. I try so hard with my own kids to step back and treat them as fellow humans, and not just children. A 4-year-old needs their own space, and gets frustrated, and gets angry in exactly the same way I do. They just don't have the vocabulary and awareness to express it. My job is to help them express it, validate it, and teach them how to deal with it. Not just to tell them to stop whining. In teens specifically, grow up and be more independent. Gets a job and saves to eventually move out one day. You need to come home sooner. I don't care if you have a job, I'm still your mother/father. My mother stigmatizing me for loving pink, playing the flute, wanting to be a nurse, etc. As a young child, my mother forcing me into social situations despite my extreme shyness. She always hated the fact I was shy. As a teen, my grades were never good enough. Even if I had an A, it could always be a higher A. If my grades dropped to a low B, I would be drug tested, and she would tell me she was surprised when I came back clean. The beatings when dad was drunk. Being made to eat foods that I couldn't stomach, or which were in amounts that were too much for me to handle. You can't leave the table until you finish everything on your plate. I hated wasting food, but I developed clever ways of sneaking unwanted food away and disposing of it without a trace. Thankfully my parents didn't pull the "there are starving people in Africa" routine, because my answer would have been "so give it to them." Being treated like an imbecile while you were just lacking some context. My dad was a drunk with opinions. He would keep me and my brother up till late and scream lectures at us about history or ethics, or how much he hated our mom. He would wake me up in the middle of the night and talk at me for hours. If we got an answer on Jeopardy wrong that we should have known. Lecture. Such angry, drunken lectures. He would throw things at us, hit us on the head to wake us up. I hated it so much. He died of liver failure when I was 17, and 22 years later I can say him dying was the best thing to happen to me. Getting my hair combed after bathing. Half an hour of ouches. Being so sad that I wanted to kill myself, but being too young to know how suicide works. Instead I cried under a tree and begged God to make me dead. Santa Claus. I threatened to shoot him down with a missile launcher. The fact that no one ever liked me, unless it was convenient for them. I was nothing but a burden for everyone around me. I was constantly abused emotionally at home, and abused emotionally and physically at school. No one cared about me. When you're the younger child, you're expected to be the spoiled one and getting everything. Complete opposite for me. My sister could get away with murder. When the adults were talking to each other, and I wanted to say something, but I had to wait until they finish, so I don't interrupt them.